Officials at the African Union have welcomed the outcome of Rwanda's constitutional referendum, which in effect allows President Paul Kagame to seek re-election and possibly remain in power until 2034. The officials argue that Rwanda has acted democratically in seeking the public's view on the matter and that the will of the people should be respected. CCTV's Girum Chala with more from the African Union.
What happened, the African Union response to the presidential term extension bid in Burundi, Rwanda's approach has seemingly received a positive welcome here. Officials of the African Union Political Affairs Commission, for instance, say the referendum in Rwanda to give extended presidential term limits in favor of President Paul Kagame is a democratic move, which does not clash with any of the AU's principles. And so the African Union does not oppose the change of the Rwandan constitution as long as it is done democratically. The African Union is normally quick and direct when addressing issues of unconstitutional change of government or unconstitutional attempts by African leaders to extend their stay in power. Egypt, Burkina Faso, Madagascar, among other states, have been suspended for breaching the African Union Charter on elections and democracy. And recently, Burundi's President Pierre Nkurunziza's controversial bid for a third term was hugely criticized. For the African Union, what is special about Rwanda is the way the constitution is being amended and its democratic process, engaging the public to decide on the proposed change. This simply means the AU basically has no problem in change or amendment of constitution. It has a problem when they are done against the law and the will of the people. That is why the African Union would rather encourage democratic process like in Rwanda than criticize them. Grumtala CCTV at the African Union headquarters in Addis Ababa.
Meanwhile, the European Union has said while it supports the right of Rwanda to change its constitution, the results of Saturday's referendum to extend presidential term limits would undermine democracy. CCTV's Jack Button has more details from Brussels.
There was too little time between the announcement of the referendum on changing Rwanda's constitution and the actual vote to allow sufficient debate on the change, which will amend presidential term limits and could see President Paul Kagame stay in power until 2034. Under the existing rules, Kagame's final term in office would conclude in 2017, after which he would have been barred from running again. After the referendum was announced, 6 European countries also raised concerns about Rwanda's human rights record while calling for greater media and political freedoms. Paul Kagame won widespread praise in Europe for rebuilding Rwanda after the 1994 genocide, but he has also been criticized by human rights groups that claim his autocratic approach to government has limited freedom of expression. The European Union's foreign policy chief Federica Mogherini has said that while it is legitimate for a country to amend its constitution, this particular change would run counter to the principles set down in the African Charter on Human and People's Rights and would undermine the country's democratic governance. But Mogherini said the EU would remain engaged with supporting peace and prosperity in the Great Lakes region and look forward to continued dialogue with the Rwandan government. Jack Barton, CCTV, Brussels.